This is a steal for the Houston Rockets, as with the lack of front court depth, this new trade would do wonders for the Rockets' offense and improve their chances of taking down the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference. We give you the trade and all the latest right here on Rockets Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews, and before I get going, I want to say I appreciate each and every single one of you watching this video right now. We are in the early parts of August. It is a lull period in the NBA, and you, my friend, are a real one here on Rockets Digest as you continue to watch day in and day out. And for the people who watch these videos and are not yet subscribed, what are you doing? That's 75% of you nearly who watch these videos and are not yet subscribed. It's 100% free, and I promise you, it's the best thing you can do leading up into the 2025-2026 Houston Rockets season, in which the Houston Rockets are going to be vying for an NBA championship. We're going to have you covered the entire way through. We're going to have game streams, live streams, so hit that subscribe button today. Let's go into today's headline, in which it is, the Rockets land perfect guard on team-friendly deal in latest projected trade. Now, it's no secret that the Houston Rockets have loaded up on wings and forwards and kind of, I'm not going to say for lack thereof, but have pushed away the guard position and really, in all reality, have true actual guards that I trust, and one of them is in his second year in the NBA. Those being, of course, Fred VanVleet and Reed Sheppard. And yes, Aaron Holiday is a guard, but I don't expect him or really want him to play valuable minutes. He is valuable to this team in a different manner. Now, at the shooting guard position, as of right now, Amen Thompson is listed as a shooting guard, which is where he will play, although he is by nature a forward. And Josh Okogie, similar thing there. He is a natured forward rather than a shooting guard. And so, for that reason, the Rockets are sitting here and they have a tremendous amount of depth at the forward position and little to none at the point guard position. Well, that's kind of a situation that you would like to figure out, just because the shot creation either needs to get better with Amen Thompson and Josh Okogie, or there also needs to be more of an emphasis on the shooting abilities of those two and Fred VanVleet and Reed Sheppard. And so for that reason, we have a new projected trade for the Houston Rockets. And that's where we start with the article from Simya Bolin and House of Houston, who says, quote, "The Houston Rockets have already positioned themselves as one of the leading title contenders in the Western Conference. Besides the Oklahoma City Thunder, there isn't a team in the NBA that is clearly ahead of the Rockets in the pecking order. While the roster is as deep and talented as any team in the league, it still has a few weaknesses, most notably shooting." I have to agree. The shooting on this team is not a bad thing. It is not in a bad position. I trust a lot of these guys to shoot the basketball. Kevin Durant, Fred VanVleet. I like Alperen Şengün down low and his shooting abilities. And I trust a couple other guys like DFS and Jabari Smith. And I do trust Amen Thompson, but it's not as a top-tier shooting abilities. And so what exactly can the Rockets do to improve their team into the upcoming season? Well, we kind of start here. Quote, "One way the Rockets can close the gap between themselves and the Thunder is by adding another high-end rotational player with the shot creation and shot-making ability. Considering the lack of backcourt depth on the Rockets, this player should ideally be a guard to best complement the rest of the roster." End quote. So you can kind of see, this has been an overarching theme. The guard position is something that a lot of people outside the organization, media-wise, feel the Rockets need to improve to give them a little bit more confidence in the Rockets' abilities in this upcoming season. And so that's where we go to the trade. Quote, "Enter Payton Pritchard of the Boston Celtics. The 27-year-old guard has emerged as a quality option for the Celtics over the last few years, playing a huge role in the 2024 title year and winning 6th Man of the Year award in 2025. And so, Payton Pritchard is obviously the guy. Now, it is an interesting spot for him in Houston, because we say here, quote, "Despite being a starting caliber point guard, he is stuck in a bench role in the crowded Celtics rotation. Now that Boston has pivoted ahead of a transition season during Jason Tatum's injury absence, Pritchard could be acquirable via trade by the Rockets." End quote. His deal's going away. The Celtics are in a kind of a transition year without Tatum, so they have talked a lot about trading pieces away. Well, what would the Rockets be able to give up? Now, this is the projected trade that we have seen across the media landscape. The Houston Rockets would receive Payton Pritchard, and the Boston Celtics would, in theory, give up Tari Eason, Jace Tate, and a 2028 protected first-round pick, end quote. Now, I'm sure you're sitting here and thinking, whoa, that's a lot to give up. I mean, Tari is a underrated part of this Houston Rockets team. And I stop myself and say I 100% agree. Tari Eason at just 24 years old is a guy that is not being given the right amount of credibility. 12 points per game this last season. His field goal percentage was fantastic. Played nearly 25 minutes per game and is kind of left out when you mention the Rockets' young core of Jabari Smith, Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün. But I feel like there might actually be a reason as to why he is left out. And the specifics are because he's on an expiring contract. And that's kind of the first thing that Semya Bolyan points out, saying, quote, Eason is on an expiring contract and will need a new deal. With the additions of KD, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Clint Capella in the front court, there isn't too much of a need for Eason, regardless of how good he has been as a Rocket. Cashing that chip and getting a player who fits the team's needs better would be a savvy move, end quote, which we know that this entire offseason has been described as savvy by media members and what they have seen from Rafael Stone. So Tari Eason is on the expiring contract. Payton Pritchard, who won 6th Man of the Year last year, would be a very good fit. Now, he averaged about 14.3 points per game. Again, he is 27 years old, so a little older. He spent all 4 years in college playing with the Oregon Ducks. His field goal percentage and three-point percentage are north of 400, and he played almost 29 minutes a game, or rather a little bit closer to 28 minutes per game in this past season, winning 6th Man of the Year. But he has the capabilities to go off on any given night. In fact, him and I believe it was Derek White both had a 40-point game this season, and kind of in the most interesting stat ever, him and Payton Pritchard are the only two teammates to ever, in Boston Celtic history, have 40 points each, which for the history they have, that's actually kind of shocking, but whatever, that's their problem. And looking at him, he has grown substantially over the past 2 seasons. You talk about his first year when he was playing a lot more, had 7.7 points, then kind of saw his role being decreased as it went to 6.2 and then 5.6, and then this past 2 seasons it's been 9.6 and then up to 14.3 in the points per game. And the shooting and the ability to assist as well has gone up. A 3.5 assists per game this season is the best of his career. It makes a lot of sense to grab him. But the question becomes, is it worth it? Like, how much do you value Tari Eason? Because we know, and Semya Bolyan points out, that Pritchard would immediately become one of the best shooters on the Rockets, filling their most important need and bringing them closer to title contention, end quote. But is that worth it to give up Tari Eason? It honestly is the question of what do the Rockets plan to do with Tari. Because he is extension eligible. So is Amen Thompson next season. They have Kevin Durant. He's going to get an extension here soon. What is the plan? How are they going to go above the first apron? I know Fred VanVleet was elected a CBA president. Are they going to be able to change that CBA to make it a little better for the Houston Rockets and for the entire NBA for money-wise? That's the question you have to ask when looking at this trade, because if you are not going to keep Tari Eason past this season, if you're not going to extend him, get that extension done for him to stay with the Houston Rockets, then I think it's a very good trade and definitely a thought to be considered, because you want to make sure you manage your assets in the proper manner. And Rafael Stone has done that to a fantastic degree thus far. But if you are not going to keep a player past his contract, you know you can trade him and get a very good value back from it, I question whether that might be the right move for Rafael Stone and the Houston Rockets. To get somebody who helps you right away, would probably be a little cheaper, is not going to play for the Celtics to the degree that they would probably that he would probably play with the Houston Rockets. And so that's where I open up the question to you. Should the Rockets make this trade? Once again, the Rockets would receive Payton Pritchard and the Celtics would receive Tari Eason, Jace Tate, and a 2028 first-round pick. I think I'd feel a little bit more comfortable if they didn't include that first-round pick, but either way, that's kind of the trade that was been laid out. And for the Celtics' needs, that probably would be a necessity to get a first-round pick because, like I said, they're kind of in a, I'm not going to say rebuild, but definitely a transition season without having Jason Tatum this upcoming year. So let me know in the comment section, is this a trade that you think would be good for the Houston Rockets? If you were the GM of the Houston Rockets, is this a trade you would make? I want to know all the thoughts in the comment section from each and every single one of you. And once again, just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who's been watching, subscribing, continues to be a part of Rockets Digest here. We're going to keep the content flowing. We're going to keep a lot of stuff coming for you, and we appreciate you with everything we have in us. And we will see you next time here on Rockets Digest. Peace out, guys.